My name is Jenny Cannon. I'm one of the pastors of Bethesda United Methodist Church. Our mission statement here at BUMC is wash more feet. And that comes from Jesus' command to his disciples to wash one another's feet and to go out in love and service to wash the feet of all the people that they encountered in their ministry. We believe that we are called as disciples of Jesus to embody an attitude of service and vulnerability in all that we do. We believe that that's lived out here through the concrete acts of mission and service and advocacy that we do, but also in our Bible studies, in our worship services, and in the way that we care and connect with one another as a community. Today, you're going to hear from a few of our foot washers here in the congregation, people who have been leaders in the way that they serve and share and live out washing more feet in their own lives, and help to develop ministries that go beyond the walls of this church to live out service in the world.
Hi, my name is Grace Menino. I'm a high schooler, and one of the ways I wash feet is by running a refugee mentorship program. I have about 15 refugees that I work with and about 10 high school volunteers that help me coordinate the kids. We play games and do activities and help them with their homework, and just try to give them a safe space to practice their English and become more comfortable in a normal social environment in America. It's also a great chance for their parents to have some time to come and learn English with some of the volunteers from Lutheran Social Services, or just to have a break because most of their families don't have cars. I think that for me this has changed me a lot, because it was one thing for me to say, oh, I'm being a good Christian because I'm coming to church and going to youth group and going to Sunday school, which are all really great things, but I think it's different when you're doing something to reach out to other people. It's definitely changed the way I see myself and I see other people and my goals for the future. I think it's brought out the best in everyone involved. My volunteers are giving up their Sundays. Lutheran Social Services gives up their Sundays just to help the children, and it's been great just to get to know the children in a different way.
My name is Janet Edmunds, and I'm from Bethesda United Methodist Church. And the ministry that I'm involved with is the Welcome Home Ministry. It was started in 2013, and our main focus is helping the homeless. We work with an organization called Bethesda Cares. It's a nonprofit organization that primarily focuses on the homeless and provides numerous services for them. And they contact us, let us know when a client is being moved into permanent housing. And then they call us, and we try to provide all kinds of furniture and household supplies, kitchen equipment, and just about anything that a homeless person would need when they're moving into housing. And usually these places are apartments with 1 or 2 bedrooms. We also work with Bethesda Cares. We have a shower program. So every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, people who have signed up through Bethesda Cares come here, and usually it's 2 or 3 people, and they can take a shower, and we have a shower facility in our church basement. We try to provide them with a little snack and things that they can take with them, a water bottle, and we just check to see if they need anything else. I'll share one story. We had a client recently come in and he started fixing himself a sandwich. He was eating it and he fell asleep. And sometimes the homeless are just so tired they never get a good night's sleep. So that's part of the way we wash more feet. We just try to help the homeless in any way we can. Another thing that we are just beginning to plan, some of the clients that Bethesda Cares has placed into permanent housing, they get lonely and a little bored, so they're thinking about trying to provide some outside activities outside of their apartment, and they might take them bowling, and they might start a singing program. First of all, we have told them that they can use our church van and drive around these clients. And one thing that we're thinking about starting, and we're still checking to make sure everything's covered, but we hope to have some of the clients come here for a monthly music program. They could bring their guitars and just sing folk songs, religious songs. we have a few church members that have already started a program that's kind of an open sing-along. So we're hoping to include these previously homeless clients to be involved in this music program. It's given me an opportunity to learn to trust in God. There have been numerous times when we're starting to load up furniture, couches and heavy chairs and dining room tables, and I contact volunteers. They bring their SUVs, they bring their, we have one person who owns a truck, and I often worry, will we have enough space? Will we have the muscle power to lift all those tables and put them on the elevator? And always things have worked out, and always volunteers have been provided. So it's been a lesson for me to learn to trust in God and know that things will work out.
Hello, we are Bruce and Nancy Smith. We've been members of this church since 1973, and one of the things that attracted us to this church was its emphasis on outreach. The ones that have appealed to me most over the years were projects that related to children in one way or another. Over the last 15 years, the one that I've mainly been involved with is the Angel Tree. This was started as a church-wide project, and it pretty much coincided with the birth or the getting a little older of our first grandchild. And I love to shop, and I was the grandma who bought all kinds of clothes and toys and everything else. And my grandson said, we don't have room for all this stuff in our house. Why don't you spend, and I said, but I like to shop. And he said, why don't you spend it on children that need it? And it really rang a bell. So I got involved right off with the Angel Tree. And the project is that we get names from a social service organization in the area, and we create ornaments and put them on a tree, hanging on a tree, and we ask the congregation to come. Now we ask for every child, we ask for 2 gifts. One would be a game or toy, or several games or toys, and one would be a gift of clothing, preferably an entire outfit, so that the child will have something new to wear in addition to something to play with. Sometimes they ask for coats or something of that nature, which we always try to accommodate. The adults and older teens get a gift of a gift certificate usually, although sometimes they will make a special request. We also give the family a gift certificate from a grocery store so that they can buy food for the family. And all of these wrapped gifts are returned. We collect them, and we either deliver them to the homes of the individuals, or we return them to the organization. We've worked with 3 organizations over the years, and they've all been wonderful. And it's just a very rewarding project. I've often said that this is what makes Christmas for me. It's more fun than buying presents for my family, to buy presents for these children, that's the only thing they're probably going to get. Now, a project Bruce and I have both been involved with is what we refer to as Sandwich Sunday. In 1983, we had a speaker at the church who talked about the hunger in DC and what they were developing with a program called through Martha's Table, the organization. They had at that time an old ice cream wagon that they called McKenna's Wagon, named for Father McKenna of Georgetown. And McKenna's Wagon goes out every evening to various locations in the district, like Lafayette Park and others, and gives out sandwiches and soup to anyone that shows up. And they give out a lot of soup and sandwiches. This has been going on since then. We've been involved for 34 years, and we collect sandwiches the first Sunday of every month. Whether it's a holiday or not, Whether it's snowing or not, we collect sandwiches. And we collect during the early service and the Sunday school hour and up till the second service. And then Bruce coordinates and works with others to take them downtown to the organization so that they can be distributed. Now that first Sunday we did it, we got about 270 sandwiches. We have gone way up from then, and Bruce will tell you a little bit more about our current status.
Yeah, Nancy mentioned that this is a first Sunday of each month program. So every Sunday, every month, we're reminded of the poverty and the hunger in DC, and I think that's one of the reasons it's been such a long, continuous program, is that we need something to tie us from our affluence here to less fortunate people in the city. So, as Nancy mentioned, after we collect the sandwiches and people have gone on into the second service, we put them in the car, make the 10-mile trip down to Martha's Table at 14th and W. If we're using their containers, which has been the general rule up until lately, they're just put right into a walk-in refrigerator and are ready to go that night out on McKenna's wagon or within the next day or two. If they're in our containers, then they have to be repackaged and then put in the refrigerator. It's the same process. Since we're pretty regular, but a lot of their sandwiches come in on an irregular basis, so sometimes they're very, very glad to see us. I said, oh man, we're just out. Other times, well, we got quite a bit, we'll use yours in a day or two. But now they have some other programs that they've developed over the years where they can use the sandwiches. They have a 4 o'clock in-house right there at their premises where they feed folks just come off the street, which I think is fairly new. And they also have children's programs that they can supplement with the sandwiches. So there's lots of ways that they can use the sandwiches. I've kind of been surprised at the longevity of this program and the fact that it's so well supported by the congregation. We've actually had an increase over the years in the participation. We'll have 25 or more families on a sandwich Sunday make the sandwiches in their home. Some of the, over the years, the Sunday school classes have been making them also. It's a really good way for parents to involve their children and introduce them to the concept of serving others and problems of poverty and hunger right here in the metropolitan area. They may not realize that, but it certainly exists. So our program has grown and support from the church families. We're typically now getting about 25 or so families on any given sandwich Sunday. And our numbers have gone up, like Nancy said, from the low around 300. Now in the summer, which is our low months, we're doing about 600. Unfortunately, that's when they need them the most because the kids are out of school. And then when we hit the school year, our congregation is back here, and we actually are getting 700 up to 1,000 on a Sunday. We just added up this week, and we're a little over 234,000 sandwiches over the 34 years. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but it's really just a drop in the bucket to the overall program and the need in the city. But so long as, unfortunately, there's that need, we hope that the program here will continue.
I tell people often, you just buy an extra loaf of bread and some lunch meat and cheese, and you can get your kids involved in spreading the bread out and putting the bologna on it and the cheese. And it really helps them learn that that's an entire meal for someone. It's not like the meals we have in Bethesda.
I think it's worked well because it is it requires very little effort and not a lot of organization. People know when it's the first Sunday of the month. They know it's Sandwich Sunday, and if they're available to participate, they do, and it works, kind of runs itself. The other project I'd like to talk about, since we're concentrating on Wash More Feet projects, is my involvement since I retired in '05 with Habitat for Humanity. While I was working, I participated in some youth work camps run by the church here, and some volunteers and mission trips for adults, and I enjoyed that. I like construction, and of course I love power tools, and this was an opportunity to do both. I didn't particularly like to travel. I don't sleep well under those conditions, so thinking about retirement, I was wondering if there was some organization that I could volunteer with that would offer me those same opportunities but would be local. And it turns out I looked at Habitat for Humanity. I think most people are familiar with Habitat for Humanity. It's an ecumenical Christian house ministry, home ministry, that's goal is to develop decent low-cost housing for very low-income families that without this help they would have no chance of home ownership. And I think we've seen, as far as helping people prosper, of course you need food and you need water and you need good housing, safe, decent housing. And so this is one program whose goal is to provide that. And so I've worked on 3 large townhome projects in in Maryland, and 3 condominiums in Northern Virginia. There's been, in between those big builds, there's been lots of smaller single-family homes, mostly we call them rehabs. They really are, I think, a Wash More Feet kind of organization, and that's why I feel good about working for them. So I hope to continue to work for them, given it's hard work. If I hold up physically and mentally, I'll continue. There's 2 of my friends over in Northern Virginia that are 10 years and 11 years older than I am, so they're my inspiration, and I hope to match their work. Thank you.